my kindergarten dolphins. It is so good to see you today. We're going to begin this morning with some calendar. So we're going to start by talking about the date. Now, yesterday's date was the 25th, so we want to think one number bigger than 25. We're going to count up 1. We're going to add 1. So 25 and 1 is... That's right, it's 26. 26. Now I'm going to add this to our calendar, so make sure you write the 26 on your calendar. And now we're going to look at building the number 26. So when I write the number 26, I have a 2 and a 6. Now I can see that the 2 is in my tens position. Remember that first position is called the tens place. The tens place. That tells me how many groups of 10 I have. So that means that I have 2 full 10 frames in the tens position. I would have 2 fully colored in 10 frames, which makes 10, 20, and I have a 6 in the ones position, which means I would have 6 little leftover single blocks. So if we were building the number 26 with blocks or with like our 10-6 like we did in math class last week, we would have 2 groups of 10 and then 6 left over by itself. So here the tens position tells us how many groups of 10s we have, and the ones position tells us how many little groups of 1 we have. So ones that are not big enough to make a group of 10 yet. 6 is not enough to make a group of 10. But we already have 2 groups of 10s, which equal 20, and then 6 more. Nice work. We'll keep working on that every day. Okay, moving on. Now that we know it is the 26th, we need to know of what month. Let's sing our months of the year song together to look at that. January, February, March, and April, May, June, July and August, September, October, November, December. These are the months of the year. All right, so we talked about our months of the year here. What month are we in right now? That very first month, we're in the month of January. So let's talk about our date. So when we write our date, remember we start with the month and we can write the word out, which you can practice on your calendar mat. January. And then today is the 26th, so we would add a 26 and then comma. It is, and then we want to know what year it is. And right now we're in the year of 2021. Nice work. Let's talk about how we would use our number date. For our number date, we begin with writing which month we are, which number month we are in. And remember, we're in the very first month of the year, so we start with the 1. Slash, that's to help us separate out the numbers. Then we have a 26 because today is the 26th day of the month. And then another slash to separate our numbers. And then that 21 is for 2021. All right. I think we're ready to move on to our days of the week. Okay, let's talk about our days of the week. We're going to begin with our days of the week song. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the days of the week. And we've got 7, making sure we're showing that in a group of 5 and 2. So yesterday was our first day of the week. It was Monday. Yesterday was Monday. We write it with the letter M. Now, if yesterday was Monday, what is today? Today is Tuesday, and both the word today and Tuesday begin with letter T, just like tic-tac and talk. So I'm going to do a very neat letter T since we're going to be working on writing letter T today. And our next word also begins with letter T, and it's tomorrow. Tomorrow. What day will tomorrow be? If today's Tuesday, tomorrow will be Wednesday. Very good. And Wednesday is written with a letter W, which we reviewed last week as one of our days of the week letter. All right, so there we have it. We know that yesterday was Monday, today's Tuesday, and tomorrow will be Wednesday. We're ready to move on to our weather report. All right, let's begin with our weather song. What's the weather? What's the weather? What's the weather like today? Tell me, Kinder, what's the weather? What's the weather like today? It has been chillier. We had some rain this weekend. I wonder how many people saw rain at their house. But today it looks like it is sunny again, but it does feel colder. It feels colder today. Our high temperatures are colder than normal. So it is sunny and cold, which happens to be my favorite weather, and some more typical winter weather because we are still in the season of winter. Okay, let's do some letter and number of the day review. All right, well, our number of the day is 1, easy peasy, and our letter of the day is S, which we've reviewed recently, so that should also be easy peasy. A nice easy start to our week. Okay, we'll begin with our number bond mat, and we'll start by writing number 1 at the top. Now this is pretty easy. How do we make 1? We just have one way, only with 1 and 0. That's the only way we can make 1. If we add anything else, we're going to get a number that's bigger than 1, which is good for us to know. If we add anything to 1, it's going to be a bigger number than 1. Let's look at our letter of the day now. Okay, we're going to start with uppercase S. Remember that with letter S, we write curved lines. And we start with writing a curve that is right below our strawberry line. And I'm going to curve up to the strawberry line, around through the vanilla line, and then almost make like a backward C between the vanilla line and the chocolate line. That wasn't a very good S because I can see it's floating a little bit. So let me try again and make sure I'm not going to have a floating letter this time. So I'm going to start right below the strawberry line, curve up, and then through the vanilla line, down and around, touching the chocolate line there. And I'll do one more, making my curved lines nice and neat. There we go. Now, for a lowercase s, we do the same thing, but we start at the vanilla line instead. So I'm going to start right below the vanilla line, curve up, down, and around, touching that chocolate line at the bottom. Just like that. Just a mini uppercase S. Nice work. And I liked how some of our friends yesterday in morning meeting wanted to write an uppercase and a lowercase next to each other, kind of like we do in our Super Kids books. That's a great idea, so I tried one out right there. Now something that begins with S is snow. Snow. So I'm going to draw a snowflake. Here is a snowflake. To start with letter S. There's a little snowflake. Snowflake. There's my letter S word. All right, I wonder what you all chose to draw for letter S. We're going to move on to our journal, and I have something new and exciting that we're going to be talking about for our journal writing this week. Okay, this week in our journal entry, we're going to be learning all about where we live in the world. And we're going to start with our city. We're going to start with our city. So we're going to do a quick little lesson on what a city is and what city we live in. And then you're going to write about your favorite part of our city. So it says, my favorite part of my city is. So if you want to start by writing that part of your sentence frame down, go ahead and do that. And now we're going to do a quick little lesson on cities. Okay, to begin, here's our question. Where am I in the world? Where are we? Where do we live? And what communities are we a part of? So, where do you live? Think to yourself right now. Where do I live? Maybe you live in a house. Maybe you live in an apartment. Maybe you live with lots of family members. There are lots of different ways that we all live. but we all, for the most part, live in the same city. We're going to talk a little bit about that city today. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to hear a song that talks about the different places that we live.
I know where I live. I know where I live. I know where I live. I know where I live. I live in a family. I know where I live. I live in a neighborhood. I know where I live. 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 I live in a city. I know where I live. I live in a state. I know where I live. 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 I live in the country. I know where I live. I live in the world. I know where I live. 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 I know where I live.
Nice job, you guys. So in that song, we heard that we live in a family, we live in a city, we live in a state, we live in a country, and we live in the world. We do live in all those things. Today, we're just going to focus on the city, and then we'll focus on the state and country in our next lesson. We're going to read this little story here. It says, "Where am I in the world?" The world is a big place. Where do I live? I can find it on a globe or a map. So we can look at a globe or a map and find where we live. It might look really big, but we're going to learn how we can kind of pick out where our city, our country, and our state are on the map. This week we're going to talk about these words: city, country, state, and world. We're going to start with city today. So a quick review here. Let's check off all of the places that we know we live in. Do we live in a family? We do. We are all a part of a family. Do we live in a neighborhood? We do. Our homes are all in a neighborhood. Do we live in a city? Yes, we do. We do live in a city. And is that city inside of a state? Yes, we do live in a state. And is that state a part of a country? It is. That's true. And is our country a part of the world? It sure is. So now we know that we live in a family. Our family lives in a neighborhood. Our neighborhood is a part of a city. Our city is a part of a state. Our state is a part of a country. And our country is a part of the world. Look at all that. So cool. Living in a city. I live with my family in a city. Here there are tall buildings. I might see trees or a lake. What else is in our city? We do have tall buildings in our city, and you can go to parks and see trees or even lakes. But what else do we see? What other kinds of things do we have in our city? We have stores and places you can shop. We have places that you can ride your bikes or go on walks. We have places where you can go to the beach. We live by the ocean. And we have many community places like schools or police offices or post offices and banks. There are places where you can get work done, places where you can go to have fun. In a city, there are lots of opportunities for things to do. This person who's telling the story lives in a city where it gets hot and cold. It says, in the summer it is warm. I can have picnics by the lake. In the winter, it snows a lot. My family and I go sledding. Now, in our city, does it snow a lot? Not really, but we can leave our city and drive to places where it snows. Like if you go up to the mountains where it's a little bit up higher, then it will get colder and we can see snow. So our city is not a place where it might snow a lot. We're by the ocean, so it's a little bit warmer. But we can leave our city and still be in our state, travel outside of our city, and see places where it snows. So now we're going to think about what's cool about living in a city. We're going to pick one of the answers. It says, living in a city is good because A, it is very crowded. B, there is a lot to do here. C, there are many farms here. D, it will never snow here. And then there's a picture of a city. Now, which one sounds like the answer to why it would be good to live in a city? Is it good that it's very crowded? It's true that living in a city, there can be a lot of people, but that might not be what we love about living in a city. The next one says, there's a lot to do here. That's pretty cool. I like that there's a lot to do in the city. You can go to different stores, you can go to different parks, you can go to the beach, you can visit different museums or zoos. That's pretty cool. Sometimes places that aren't big cities may not have all those opportunities. So that's one answer we could keep. C says there are many farms here. There aren't many farms in the city. In Los Angeles, our city, there are not really any farms inside of the city. Farms are usually found in places that are not big cities. And D, it will never snow here. Well, that might be true about our city, but it's not true about all cities. So I think that the answer of there is a lot to do here would be why it is good to live in the city. Okay, now that we've thought a little bit about cities and what is cool about cities and a little bit about what they are, we're going to come back to our journal. And we're going to think about our favorite part of our city. Now, our city is Los Angeles. Maybe you live outside of Los Angeles. And if you want to think about your own city where you live, that's okay. But most of us live in Los Angeles, so we're going to think about our favorite parts of Los Angeles. My favorite part of my city is, now what are some things that you love about living in Los Angeles? Maybe you like that there are so many things to do. Maybe you like certain museums. Maybe you like certain parks. Maybe you like the zoo. Maybe you like going to the beach. There are lots of things that we can write about. Maybe your favorite part about Los Angeles is the Dodgers or the Lakers or the Rams or the Galaxy, the soccer team. There are some really great teams that we can support being a part of Los Angeles, and maybe your favorite thing is to watch their games. I think my favorite part of Los Angeles is the observatory. The Griffith Park Observatory is my favorite part of the city. So I think I'm going to write about that. So it says my favorite part of my city is, and I'm going to write going to the Griffith Park Observatory. The observatory has a really awesome planetarium where you can learn about space, and it has some cool telescopes where you can look out and view the whole city. I especially like to hike up there, and I enjoy looking out at the views and looking in the big telescope where they like to look at the moon. So I'm going to draw the observatory up on a hill. And there's a hiking path going up that I like to take to hike up there. There's some stairs over here. And there's the beautiful mountains in the back. The Hollywood sign is over here. views. So that is my favorite part of my city, which is Los Angeles, and might be your city too. So let me know what your favorite part about living in Los Angeles is, and then we will check. And then tomorrow, I'll read some of your journal entries out loud before we learn more about our state. All right, kindergartners, I'll check in with you later. Bye!